Welcome to the Viewless Wings Poetry Podcast, where we celebrate the craft of poetry. Each week, we feature interviews with incredible poets and artists, including Olivia Gatwood and A.E. Stallings, and original poetry read by the authors. I'm your host, James Moorhead, Poet Laureate of Dublin, California, and author of Canvas and Portraits of Red and Gray. On this episode of the Viewless Wings Poetry Podcast, I break down the importance and value of hiring a copy editor to review your manuscript. One of the goals I set for my debut book, Canvas, was for every word to be letter perfect. Unlike web content, which can be updated and corrected on the fly, a book once printed is permanent. Given the complexity of publishing a book, taking the extra step to ensure letter perfection is worth the investment. Your book should have an independent editor and copy editor. This might be the same person. For my book, my wife and father served the role of editor, and I hired a professional copy editor when I had a final manuscript. A good editor will provide you with direct, actionable feedback. Their job isn't to be a cheerleader, but to be a critical resource. The poem Tethered, in my book Canvas, was one of my favorites, in my mind, but the draft I sent to my wife was muddled and she called me out. She provided me with actionable feedback that helped target rewrites for every one of my poems. Tethered benefited tremendously from that critical feedback, is now one of my favorite poems from Canvas, and has been transformed into an award-winning animated short film being shown at film festivals around the world. Actionable feedback sounds like this. I find this section confusing and hard to parse, or the meter in this stanza is inconsistent with the rest of the poem. Feedback that is difficult to action sounds like this. This poem is fine, or this could be better. I got lucky with my wife and dad. They aren't trying to tell me what I want to hear. They're telling me what I need to hear. To achieve letter perfection, hire a copy editor. It's one of the most valuable investments you'll make since the foundation of your book is the manuscript. I was very fortunate to be referred to Brittany Smale by a friend. Brittany and I had a quick call where I shared my vision for the book, as well as key details I wanted to get just right. I'll put Brittany's contact information in the show notes. What I received in return was incredible. Despite reading the manuscript multiple times, my wife, dad, and I all missed several key errors, including in the title poem, Canvas. We somehow all missed palette was misspelled. Not once, but twice. Damn those dangerous homonyms. We had become blind to the details, having read the manuscript so many times, whereas the copy editor was seeing everything for the first time. Copy editing is a skill, and there are many techniques copy editors use to avoid this blindness. Copy editing is more than just attention to detail. It's a skill acquired through education and experience. In addition to delivering a marked up manuscript, Google Docs is a terrific tool for collaborating with editors and copy editors. Brittany also provided a style guide summarizing the standard being applied to the manuscript. In my case, the Chicago Manual of Style, 17th edition. You'll inevitably have a budget for your book and will need to make trade-offs. Copy editing is one area where I recommend you hire a professional. The foundation of your book is built on a letter-perfect manuscript. As a thank you to my copy editor, I wrote a poem for fun. To close this episode, I offer Ode to My Copy Editor. Chicago's Book of Style keeps you true when semicolons fit you'll point them out. Each comma place gets certified by you. If hyphens are amiss, there'll be no doubt. But more than punctuation, you'll detect with your keen eye and passion for detail. When palette should be palette, you'll correct. Those pesky homonyms swap without fail. And when you've copy edited my book, you'll wrap the project up with free critique. Go back and give these two a second look, and sure enough, those poems incomplete. To thank you for your awesome expertise, I wrote this after the contract was paid. but worried this slight ode may not appease, for who corrects mistakes I've likely made? The Viewless Wings Poetry Podcast is written and produced by James Moorhead. You can follow me on Twitter at Dublin Ranch, subscribe to the Viewless Wings Poetry Podcast, and follow us on viewlesswings.com or on Instagram at viewlesswings.